Hey, what is going on, Guardians? Gray here with another Destiny 2 video. In today's video, I'm sure you probably already know what I'm going to talk about. It's the new hotness on the block. I'm going to be talking about the Traveler's Chosen Sidearm and some of the amazing builds that this weapon gives us access to. I'm going to be doing sort of a series of videos with this sidearm. I'm planning on doing a build with each class at least. Using the sidearm. It's really awesome. It opens up a lot of doors for build potential. This one we're going to be talking about a build I put together for Warlocks. I'm going to do Titans next and Hunters as well. I try to cover all the classes as best as I can. I know it's not always balanced, but I try to do what I can. But this idea came to me just thinking about builds and kind of some goofy stuff we can do. I knew we had Iron Banner this week as well, so I wanted to put together a fun PvP build that you could use inside of Iron Banner that would just wreak havoc and be really fun at the same time. So if you guys enjoy the video, please leave a like below and consider hitting that subscribe button. We'll dive into it now. This is a pretty unique build. You don't see a lot of people playing this subclass in particular, so it should be pretty fun. So stay tuned and let's dive into it. So starting off, of course, we need to go over this sidearm, the Traveler's Chosen. It just came out this week at Reset. The evacuation quest has finally wrapped up, and the reward for completing the quest is this sidearm. I'm going to explain it just so you understand what we're working with, as this will be the fundamentals for the next couple of videos I have planned. The main perk on this sidearm is Gathering Light. Final blows with this weapon grant stacks of Gathering Light. If you hold R while you reload, you will consume those stacks, granting melee, grenade, and class ability energy based on the number of stacks. The other intrinsic perk on this is Gift of the Traveler, where each stack of Gathering Light improves this weapon's reload, handling, and target acquisition. So it's a really cool system to play with. As you're getting kills, not only does the weapon's performance increase as you chain kills together with it, but you can cash in those stacks of Gathering Light for tons of ability energy. And it's actually really rewarding, especially in PvP. If you get one Guardian kill, it's going to give you 3 stacks of Gathering Light. And if you cash that in, it's going to give you almost 40% of your ability energy back. You can almost get an entire ability back just by hitting that reload button after getting 1 kill. It's really awesome. And then if you get 2 kills, you have 6 stacks. It'll almost completely refresh all of your abilities. And that's our primary weapon. That's insane. I mean, you have a primary weapon that has that much potential to completely change how your builds function, and it opens a lot of doors. So with that being known, we can start to play around with some mechanics that may not stand out as much on a regular basis, but when we can take advantage of constantly having our grenades and our melees and things like that because of this, it really makes for some really fun build crafting potential. So while I sat and thought about it, I naturally wanted to come up with a way of taking advantage of this, and there was a certain exotic that I always wanted to use and I never got a chance to do it. And that is going to be the Getaway Artist exotic gauntlets. These are really cool. I always wanted to mess around with them and I never got a chance to. These have the exotic perk Dynamic Duo, where you can consume your grenade, your arc grenade, to turn it into a supercharged arc soul. The arc soul functions as an autonomous turret. So if you guys have never played Arc Warlock before, they have access to this mechanic called Arc Soul, and it creates this little arc buddy, is what I like to call him, and he functions like a little turret. He'll hang around with you, follow you around, and he'll automatically shoot at any target that's in front of you. He doesn't do an insane amount of damage or anything like that, but it's enough to make it really easy to clean up some kills. And knowing that we can just consume our grenade at any time to get a supercharged arc soul is awesome. And when you pair that with the Traveler's Chosen, you can constantly be having your grenade. You can almost have 100% uptime on your arc soul. And when we get into the subclass, it gets even crazier. So we're going to be running Bottom Tree Stormcaller. You could really make this work with any of the other trees. I just wanted to run Bottom Tree because, like I said at the beginning, I wanted to come up with a fun 6v6 Iron Banner type of build to take advantage of this to the max. One of the more important perks on this tree is Electrostatic Surge, and it makes it so your rift lasts longer and it'll recharge faster when allies are near. You pair this with the Arc Soul perk itself, and your rift will grant you or any ally that uses it an Arc Soul in battle. So between your Rift and the Getaway Artist, you will always have an Arc Soul up at all times, basically. And you're giving it to your teammates, and it's really hilarious. You may see a clip here in the background. There's a few times where right at the beginning of the match, I drop a Rift on the first capture point, and literally my entire team steps inside of it, and we all have Arc Souls floating with us running into that first engagement. Not only is it hilarious, but it's pretty lethal at the same time. I personally am using the Empowering Rift because I wanted to take advantage of that bonus weapon damage, especially with the sidearm. Me personally, I don't use sidearms that much. This was sort of my first deep dive with sidearms. I don't play with them a lot, and I know that they're incredibly strong. I see a lot of the big guys using them. True Vanguard, Cool Guy, Drewski. They love their sidearms, and I've always wanted to try it out and dive into it. I could just never get the hang of how they feel, how they shoot, and this weapon is forcing me to do it. And I'm really glad because I kind of enjoy the play style now that it's clicking with me. The Empowering Rift was just a little bit of a crutch to help me land some of those kills a little easier, but it's really nice to help out your teammates in those 6v6 game modes as well. We also have Rising Storm as our melee ability. It makes it so our regular melee ability will also give us super, grenade, and melee energy. So we have a ton of stuff that is working for us to give us our abilities back as often as possible. We can just be consuming our grenade, getting the Arc Soul, using our Rift to get the Arc Soul, as well as taking advantage of that empowering damage. It's very, very strong, and using something like Traveler's Chosen just gives you almost 100% uptime on your abilities. So I know I may have gone a little quick there. I just want to make sure that you understand the gist is that the Traveler's Chosen sidearm allows us to have insane uptime on all of our abilities, and you can combine this with any number of different exotics for endless build crafting potential. I can't tell you, this little gun is such a godsend towards build crafting. It makes it so you can do so much more with so much less. And I didn't think this build would be nearly as viable as it was, and starting out, I was kind of struggling with it at first. So give it some time. It's going to take a minute, especially if you're not used to that sidearm playstyle. It is a lot different than you may think at first. You really got to get in there and go for those kills. It's actually fairly aggressive. I was pairing it with the beloved sniper rifle, but I was messing around with all sorts of different special weapons as well. I was using a slug shotgun. I messed around with Fellwinter's Lie to be hyper aggressive. I even threw a fusion rifle on for a while. I was using Truth Teller. It's really going to be up to you what you're comfortable with as far as your special weapon goes. But the playstyle is hyper aggressive, so keep that in mind. The other thing I stacked on top of this build, you know me, I like to throw in the Charge with Light package, as I call it, and that's using the 3 mods, High Energy Fire, Taking Charge, and Stacks on Stacks. I like to throw those in my armor at different places. For those of you who don't know, Taking Charge makes it so whenever you pick up an orb of light, you'll become charged with light. Stacks on Stacks is going to make it so every time you do pick up those orbs, you get 2 stacks of Charge with Light. You get that bonus stack. And we take advantage of those stacks by using High Energy Fire, which gives us bonus weapon damage. It's a very nice little combination that'll be working for you in the background. So with this build, not only do we have the Empowering Rift giving us bonus damage, but we also have Charge with Light working for us as well. So you're always getting some sort of buff, and you have your little arc buddy there helping you out as well. One thing I want to talk about is the way that the Arc Soul actually works, because the Getaway Artist exotic states that you get a supercharged Arc Soul. It's different than a regular Arc Soul that you get from your Rift. Ironically, the game kind of gets a little jumbled up, and if you have the Getaway Artist equipped and you plant your Rift down, it still gives you that supercharged Arc Soul. The way you can tell the difference is that the supercharged Arc Soul shoots 5 shots at a time, where a regular Arc Soul will shoot 3. So no matter what, if you have this exotic equipped, it always gives you that supercharged Arc Soul no matter where you get it from. It's always going to shoot that 5 shot. One of the main differences, however, is that the Rift will only give you a 12-second Arc Soul, whereas consuming your grenade gives you a 20-second Arc Soul. It's important to understand that, because if you do use your Rift and you get a regular Arc Soul and you have that 12 seconds, if you're at 1 second left and you consume your grenade, it will only refresh the buff to 12 seconds. It's kind of a weird little intricacy you need to understand. It's almost better to wait for it to expire and then consume your grenade so you get a full 20 seconds. On the flip side of that, if you consume your grenade first and the clock is ticking down, you can plant your rift and that will refresh you back to 20 seconds. I know that's pretty complicated to understand. Just know that the original way that you get your Arc Soul, if you refresh it, that's the buff that will refresh. It's not going to go, if you have a Rift Arc Soul and you consume your grenade, it's going to give you back the Rift timer, if that makes sense. So I know that's a little bit complicated, and I just wanted to make sure I clarified that. If you guys have questions, if I wasn't quite clear on it, please ask me down in the comments. I'd be more than happy to clear it up for you. It's a little complicated. I don't usually play Stormcaller either inside of PvP, so it was a lot of fun to dive into. The gameplay I'm showing in the background is from 2 back-to-back flawless games I had in Iron Banner. I played almost all day yesterday, messing around with this build. I almost got kind of discouraged at first because I was having a hard time, and then finally it clicked, and I had 2 back-to-back games where I did not die. And it was really awesome to have happen, and it sort of validated the build for me, and that's why I'm here making this video, because I just wanted to do something new, something goofy with the Traveler's Chosen, and this fit the bill perfectly. So I hope you guys try this out. The Traveler's Chosen opens up a lot of doors for all sorts of other crazy builds. It's really a godsend. It's going to make it really fun to create content and build up until Beyond Light. So I'll have a few more builds coming with this thing, so bear with me because they're really cool and they're fun to mess around with. Don't sleep on it. Go do the quest. It's a little lengthy, but the reward is more than worth it. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking out the video. Let me know what crazy nonsense Dr. Frankenstein builds you guys are coming up with as well. I would love to hear what you're coming up with. Thank you again for stopping by. I appreciate your time. Take care.